All right. Well, welcome back to another episode. This is Screams for Relief podcast.
This
I'm
is
Steven.
episode number 2.
Yep. Episode number 2. How you doing today?
All right. Wish I could just hang out all day instead of having to make money and go do that for 8 long hours. But other than that, everything's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about time you fucking showed up. Tried to
Hey
get you
man,
over here yesterday.
listen. I have other responsibilities other than this. All right. I know you can just sit here and do nothing all day, play Fortnite or whatever it is the kids are doing, but
Yeah, but I can't though.
oh bullshit, you can't.
No. I don't like Fortnite. Fortnite's not fun.
You Destiny. Is that still your shit?
I told you I don't play any games. Actually,
You play games at work all day long.
with people.
Yeah.
Not video games. No, actually, I bought my buddy's old Xbox because I wanted to play the Master Chief collection, all the old Halo games.
Like an original Xbox or like a 360?
No, it's an Xbox One.
Oh.
Yeah, but I never played any of the Halo games. The only one I played was 3, and that was in like 7th grade. And the only time I played that was my buddy. He had the Xbox 360, and every year we would have like an overnight thing that we would stay at the school. No, it wasn't gay. Oh, that reminds me of my question of the day too.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but so it was kind of cool though. We'd all you bring all your shit that you want, and he brought like a big projector in his Xbox, so he put this big projector the backdrop on the wall and projected it, and it was all 4 of us playing to the campaign and shit. That's pretty cool.
See, I've always been a PlayStation kid, so I'd only play Xbox if I went over to my friend's house.
Up.
So I played a little bit of Halo, but I never really liked it.
Yeah, that's why I never played Halo because I
right.
always had PlayStation. But
I went from when I was a kid, I had a Super Nintendo, or I had a regular Nintendo when I was like a little kid. Then my mom bought me a Super Nintendo, and I went from Super Nintendo to the original PlayStation, the big gray one.
Oh yeah.
With the controllers, they didn't have
like
analog.
the square, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have joysticks. It was just like
yeah. They call it what do they call it? Like the PlayStation X or something. That's what they call it. It's not even the one. The one was the next generation after that even.
But they could still. It was essentially the
same
thing.
The games are still compatible, but it was just their first ever release design. It was just this rectangle.
And I literally went PlayStation X then 2, 3, 4, and we have a Switch now. But I've always been a PlayStation kid. I can never stand the frickin' Xbox controllers. They drove me nuts.
Growing up, I hated that shit, and then
that opposite joystick shit. How it's on opposite sides of the controller.
It's offset, yeah.
I never liked it.
No, that's all right. It's the only way. What makes it really good is they make those competitive gaming controllers. Scuff makes them, and they have actual paddles on the underneath side, so it kind of makes it a little bit more comfortable if you can get used to that. But
yeah, I bought a Switch controller for my son, and it's a Pokemon one, but it's got those same paddles on the back, so you can do different stuff with those.
Yeah,
I mean it's cool, but that's the one thing that I was thinking about probably a couple days ago, about how nostalgic our generation is, and always go way
we're
back.
Super nostalgic.
Well,
It's a hell of a drug.
I think it's because
I think we've hit a peak in shit.
well, it's the same kind of thing with people that were raised around the Great Depression, the Industrial Revolution. How they literally if you were a kid in 1910, you literally went from horses to driving cars.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's the same thing with us with technology. Is we went from nothing, rotary phones, black and white TVs, because my parents were broke growing up, so we still had a black TV with a VHF controller on it. We had 3 knobs on remote.
Oh yeah.
So you'd have channels 1 through 10.
Pull the knob out. Turn it on.
1 through 10, and then you had the VHF where you can fine tune the channel in, and then you had the volume, but there was no remote.
That's old as fuck.
And then we went from that to dial up. And then from and then with dial up,
Dial-up.
if you're on the fucking computer, you hear your mom, "Get off the computer! I gotta make a phone call." And then you went from that to DSL, and then phones are fucking through the roof. Like my first phone I had, I think I bought it in high school. It was one of those like Nokia bricks.
Yeah.
Like the blue one that was like
it had like the quarter antenna on it.
Yeah, you could play the snake game on it.
Oh yeah.
But then you go from that.
You remember the badass cases they'd make for those phones too? Like you had like the checkered
It was like
case.
a condom for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are cool. But no, and that's what I'm saying is like, and it's not just me or you or like a couple people. If you have some of that stuff and sell that stuff on eBay, it's gold. Like I was looking
to
up
the right person.
If you have,
because the nostalgia thing.
There's a couple original Disney movies on VHS. Like if you have an original first edition Little Mermaid on VHS tape that's like brand new,
You're
it's worth thousands
suspect.
of dollars. And like all this like just stupid shit. Like I remember when what was it? Surge was like the Mountain Dew version.
Yeah. People love
Coke.
that shit.
And they stopped making it from like 98, 99 until recently they started making it again.
Oh, they are making it again?
Yeah, but if you had like a can of Surge that was unopened, it was worth hundreds of dollars.
I watched a video of like people, these two guys, I think it's that Good Mythical Morning, they like try like old foods and stuff and they would buy the shit off eBay and they're spending like hundreds of dollars, yeah, like you said, literally to like buy it just to like test it, even though it's like it's not even like safe to drink or anything or eat really.
Like the original Super Soaker from like the 90s is worth a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Moon boots. I don't remember if you remember Moon boots.
Oh yeah.
Like just stupid shit. Like an original Tamagotchi from like the early 90s.
I forgot about those too.
Just crazy stuff. But we've been a part of every level of digital innovation. And I thought I was tech savvy because I've been around computers my whole life. But when I talked to my younger sisters, who are like my youngest sisters in college, and like I think I got like technology under control, and then I'll go over to their house if she's on her laptop or whatever, and she has a laptop that it'll open and then it'll flip around and it's got a touch screen on it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those Windows laptops.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And I'm like, holy shit! And like, she uses like Google Doc for everything.
What is Google Doc?
It's how she writes all her papers and stuff.
Oh, it's like a document like multimedia.
Yeah, but you can do everything on it.
Okay.
And like when I was in high school, we just used like Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
But now they just like they email Google Docs back and forth between her and her professors, and that's how they do it in high school now. My 6.5-year-old son has a Google Chromebook.
Seriously?
At school.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
So every
thought that
year
was
I have to
crazy.
pay like I don't remember what it is. I think it's like $100 deductible on it, like for insurance, just in case it breaks. I'm like,
yeah, that's a good idea around like 6 and 7 year olds.
yeah, and
Give
then
them Google Chromebooks and everything.
And
what do you think's gonna happen?
And I understand that's a form of teaching and a form of knowledge and a form of teaching kids certain things, but I don't think it should be everything.
No, it's. I understand like the technology aspect because we have so much access to it nowadays. So like, okay, we'll introduce like kids to it, but you don't need to like go full blown and like have every course on like specifically like a laptop or whatever. Like Chris and I were talking the other day. They don't anymore. They're going to not teach cursive anymore. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
like reading clocks, like analog clocks, like clocks on the wall. They're talking about taking them down and making them all digital because kids can't read clocks. It's like, are you kidding me?
yeah. No, my son doesn't know how to read it.
Out in the real world though, that's still like shit like that you need to know. Like there's not digital clocks everywhere out in the world. Like that's literally just in the schools nowadays still. It's like, no, you should probably learn how to read a clock. And like cursive, they're talking.
No, I don't think
they can't read or write cursive. When they go to Washington D.C. to look at all those the archives of all the,
it'd be like looking at hieroglyphics.
Yeah, they don't know they can't read the Declaration of Independence. They have to have somebody read it to them.
Well, my son's still like
crazy
young in like the school phase of it all, and he's now like writing words and stuff. But I know for sure that they don't do any cursive at all. But I don't know how they do it later, like second, third, fourth grade. But no, I I don't think they do
I
any
would hope
cursive
they
at
do.
all.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's a requirement in high school to do like
Papers.
calculus,
Oh,
and
talking about math now.
well, no one uses unless you're a professor or you're like some kind of biochemist or
You have to
some
have like a very
crazy
like degree specific for using just that.
Why not just take that calculus out and have like a basic
Like home
life-
economics, like we were talking the last episode.
Right. Not even that though. Like I'm just talking like a math class that teaches you like accounting and like
Oh, what you would use in real life.
yeah, real
Regular
world shit.
Maybe not every day, but like enough.
I read
in your
an
daily
article
routines.
that the major banks last year they made like $28 billion in overdraft fees.
Jesus Christ.
And what that tells me is people don't know how to
Don't know.
balance
Yeah,
checkbooks.
exactly.
But they just keep on swiping their
100%
card
they don't.
until
And
they run out of
yeah,
money.
they don't look at nothing.
And then they get a statement that they owe the bank
I
like
gotta pay this
$400 because they got a Coke from McDonald's and they paid $37 for it. So the banks literally took money away from people that literally didn't have any money.
That's the problem with everybody using credit cards and shit nowadays. Though, it's just a swipe and go, and then next thing you know, you're fucking $40,000 in debt, and you're like, huh? How did I get here? Yeah. Oh, I wonder why.
Well, and that's the difference between me is, I mean,
I try to carry cash, but
I always have a checkbook on me, and everyone thinks it's crazy.
well, to me that's the next best thing. But I just don't have it. I just never went.
Do you have a checkbook?
No. If I do need checks, though, I can just go to my bank and get like what they call like the temporary checks, and they'll give me like a sheet of them.
Well, when I changed over to this bank, they told me that we can just get you a couple temporary checks. I'm like, well, how much is like a whole box of checks? She's like, well,
$10.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
Not
just
expensive.
send me the whole thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no, it's like my sister works at U of M hospital, and I went up there and had lunch with her, and it's crazy because normally I try to pay cash for everything.
Yeah.
And if you hand that little girl or little boy up there that's running the cash register there cash,
They don't know how to do change.
it's like I'm speaking French to them. Like they'll look at me and go, okay, and then they'll like put it in there.
Like you just handed them some euros or something.
And then you can see smoke just bellowing out of their ears because they don't understand how to give change or
yeah, and it's an inconvenience.
even
to
talk
them.
to another human being.
Yeah,
like
that too. Yeah.
it's like,
that's a problem.
or like when the power goes out and you only have to use cash, and the cash register person actually has to do math in their head.
Yeah, like I was saying, they just don't know how to do math or do
Right.
change, which brings us back to teach a basic math course that people will use in their day-to-day lives.
Well,
Something, anything.
I think when I was in high school, I mean, I did math classes, but they weren't like, I didn't do like a
no,
calculus class.
I
or
think the
anything.
most it went for me was like physics.
I did.
And I
did like
bombed at it.
I did a pre-algebra, then I did an algebra, and I think I did a geometry class, and that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
Because I think you needed 4 math credits, but I did a construction tech class that counted towards a math credit.
Yeah, we had what was 21st century skills class, which is counted as a math credit, but that was like computer geek shit project stuff.
If I remember correctly, the
Balance a checkbook.
the algebra class that I used for basic like addition, subtraction, and that kind of stuff, you weren't even allowed to use a calculator. Like you had to show your work.
Yeah.
Like you had to
Yep,
show
every time you had a test.
Yeah, you had to
couldn't
show
use calculator.
exactly. Yeah. So, and now,
Unless you're in the stupid class like me, and then he'd go, "Okay, I'll give you a calculator, so it helps."
but no,
like
it's
he knew we were all dumb.
but no, it's like even now, like with like just basic stuff, people they don't even know how to do math.
I did at work the other day doing like our waste for like how much we did for the paper and stuff. I like wrote it out like long like subtraction just to like do it, and it like felt weird doing it again. I'm like, oh, this is so strange. I'm like, but I'm not dumb. I can still do it. So I was like hoping I would like know how to do it.
No, it's crazy. And I'm not pro apocalyptic world, but I think it would be cool to go back to like almost no
Simple times.
no technology, like almost no technology, because I think some technology is good, but I think it's invading people's lives and people are literally addicted to it. I mean, you can go to the mall, and there's like 3-4 girls hanging out, and they'll be all sitting like eating pretzels or whatever. But they're all staring at their phone.
It's depressing to even go to the mall anymore because all the stores are just closing down.
Well,
Well, everybody shops online.
That was the one thing that
weird.
that we did. Like
Malls are so empty
We would
nowadays.
go to the mall just to hang out,
Yeah,
just to chill.
yeah.
Maybe because we didn't like our
Anywhere.
parents.
Me and my friends, and even in high school, which is, so you guys know, was only like what 7 years ago, 7 years ago. But we would go anywhere. We would go to like McDonald's and just shoot the shit. We'd go to like Meijer and shoot the shit, or we'd go to like Walmart, the mall.
Yeah.
There's always shit to do because there was always a lot of people in those places because that was like.
Well, see, we went
part
to
of the
Walmart
norm,
just to
society.
We went to Walmart just to fuck shit up, but yeah, no.
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna say that.
But no, it's like
Meijer.
it's like people don't know how to have conversation anymore,
No,
like
it's-
real conversation.
Yeah, it's awful. It's the most awkward thing. Like some people describe it, like The Office, like Steve Carell, how he plays Michael Scott. Like he makes people that view that show uncomfortable. That's like how it is trying to have like a normal, decent conversation with people in the real world, even if you don't know them.
Right.
Even if you do know them too, it's like it's uncomfortable. It's
Well-
like okay, you say you're weird. Like I don't.
And my wife always makes fun of me about this, but like, you know, if I'm going to the store or whatever, and the person interjects conversation to me, I just have a conversation with them. And she's like, "Well, why are you talking to them?" I'm like,
Because they were nice to me.
What do you
Because it's so rare to find somebody that will actually want to have a conversation and then can have a conversation.
well, see, and then it goes, it's a twofold thing because this is probably a year or two ago. We were at Meijer, and we were grocery shopping, and this guy at the cash register, he wanted to talk, and I had a conversation with him, but then I figured out really fast that he was a crazy person, and he was talking about like aliens and like
Did they have how much tinfoil did he have in his cart? How much was he checking out with?
he had a whole hat on, and but you know my wife's kind of introverted, so she doesn't like doing that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, that, and if the person's crazy, I don't blame her.
Yeah, but like I don't know, it's just something I've always done.
You can subtly brush stuff like that away.
But I've always been able just to have basic conversation because I think that's the polite thing to do. Like even if I don't like you, I'm not gonna just like
Nah, see, if I don't like you, I'm not talking to you.
I'll still be
I'll keep it short.
yeah, but like, you're just not gonna just like just turn your head and like ignore them.
No,
sometimes you do, but I mean,
I'll do like the nod and a couple. Oh yeah. Oh wow,
just-
really? And then just kind of
with all the stuff that we have at our fingertips right now in this world, we're losing all the other stuff that we need as human beings.
basic communication. You
Yeah.
mean being
Just-
one of them?
It's just crazy. Like I love technology. I love the fact that I can literally do anything on my phone. I love that I can check how much money's in my bank account without calling anybody. I love that I can pay bills on there. I love I can literally look up anything ever in the history of the world. But I also like just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a way to have a middle ground somewhere in there where you're not attached to your phone like glue, but you're not one of those weird guys that lives underneath a social rock.
Yeah, like the whole reason
Like
why.
Biodome, yeah.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say was the whole reason why I wanted to get an Xbox again and play all those Halo games is one, they're cool, they're interesting, you know, they're like a milestone in like gaming stuff like that. But it's something for me and like Tina to do together, like just sit down, run through all the campaigns because the campaigns are kind of cool, and I've been watching people play them, and it's something to do together. It'll be interesting for both of us because it's something that she said she actually wants to do. So I got my buddy, every time I go to my buddy's house, he's like, "Hey man, you want an Xbox?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "I don't even like play my PlayStation anymore. The only time it's on is if I'm using Netflix or Hulu." He's like, "Okay, we'll just sit in there." And then finally last time he's like, "Hey, you want an Xbox?" I'm like, "No, quit asking me." And then I went home and then I saw like the Master Chief Collection. I'm like, "Fuck, I want to play those." So I hit him up. I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it off your hands for it." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" So he's like, "Okay, well, I'll get it all ready." I went over to his house. He left it in his garage for me to pick it up. And I was like, you want any money for it or anything? He's like, no. I'm like, well, I'm not just gonna like take it, because he's like my brother basically. He's like my best friend, but I'm still not just gonna like take an Xbox One from him like for free. So I was like, all right, I'll give you like $100. He's like, I was thinking like 30. I'm like, all right, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll give you 60. He's like, all right, whatever. Because I know he doesn't give a shit, but I was like, oh, I'll give you. So then I get it, I bring it home, and I go to plug it in, and it goes and then like dies out. I'm like, oh, so he gave me a fucking bunk ass box. That's fucking cool. But I look, how Xbox has like the power brick.
Yeah.
Well, it was the power brick that ended up being bad. So I had Tina bring hers over from her Xbox One and just to make sure that that's what it was, and that's what it was. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, probably because it was sitting outside in the garage.
No, he had it in his house,
Oh.
but he just left it in his garage because he went to bed because he had to get up and do something. I don't know. He does landscaping, so he's like unemployed right now. So when he says he has to get up early to take care of shit, I know he's just lying. Okay, you don't have to lie to me. I don't care. It doesn't mean shit to me.
I mean, he could be like doing snow removal and stuff.
He does do that. What he normally does though is they have like a wood burning stove in their garage, so he just literally just hangs out in the garage every day during the wintertime for like 10 hours a day working on his truck. That's it. The last time I went out there, he was out there just hauling wood around, cutting wood for the wood burning stove. So when I pulled up, oh yeah, it was also funny when I pulled up because I texted him. I said, "Hey, Big Chungus, you home?" He never got a hold of me, so I just cruised on over there because I was gonna go to Best Buy out where he lives.
Wait, so hold on. So you call to ask if he can come over, then he doesn't answer, then you just go over there anyway?
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't ask to go over. I just asked if he was home. I was gonna go over there anyways.
That sounds like invasion of privacy.
That's what we used to do all the time growing up.
Oh, I know.
And so I pull up and he's outside hauling wood around and stuff in a wheelbarrow. And I just look at him and I drive and I finally get into like his main driveway. And I get out and he goes, "You here to beat my ass or something?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's weird. You just showed up out of nowhere. You haven't done it in a long time." I was like, "No, I'm not here to beat your ass. So I'm here just to stop by and say, hey, what's going on, I haven't seen you since New Year." He's like, "Oh, right on." I'm like, "Why? What'd you do?" He's like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Okay, well, then why is that the first thing that you said?"
But listen, if I came over here to whoop your ass, you know it. You know all about it.
Maybe, unless it was like element of surprise where you just...
Yeah, but then I wouldn't even let you say anything. I would just get out of the truck and just punch you right in the mouth.
He's funny. Get out of the car and does it. Oh, that question. So, like I said the other day at work, I want to think of like a question like every podcast. Like a question of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I remember now. So the question is, if you were gay, do you think up until this point of your life, do you think you would have had sex with more men than you have women being straight?
Am I just coming to the realization I'm gay right now?
No. Like back to wherever it is when people decide that they're gay, or because it's not a choice. Excuse me, ignorant. So if your whole life you were gay, do you think you would have had sex with more men than if you were straight your whole life, women?
Well, I guess it depends on your family and like how much you trust them, and like, because I know people.
No. If you were gay, do you think you would have had sex with more guys than you've had sex with women being straight? That's the question. Has nothing to do with your family.
Okay.
Like, one night stands, shit like that, a slamming ass.
I don't know. I would say it would probably be 50-50.
No. What? Really?
Yeah. Because me personally, if you want to hold that...
I'll be right back.
Okay. If you still want to hold that, like, straight hood and, like...
Straight hood.
Like, I don't want people to know that I'm gay. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, just do both. And just bring women home and do the dude thing on the side. But no. That is a really, really weird and random question out of the blue. But I think most people who are gay, which is fine, they have a realization fairly young if they have that kind of sexuality.
So do you think it's like a comfortability thing? Because like, you know, when people are gay, they're like so uncomfortable about it at first,
Yeah.
because they're like, oh, what are people gonna think, and this and that, and like what you were saying, family. But it's like, do you think because they know that like a lot of people are unaccepting of it, so they think it's like kind of wrong, but then it also feels that like, yeah, let's go do something wrong, you know, yeah. So they're just getting down day
I
and
think
night.
if you're a dude, I think it's that way, but I don't think it's that way if you're a girl.
Women are straight whores. It's
You think
even
so?
worse. Oh yeah.
You think so, really?
Oh yeah.
Because
They literally have a hole to put stuff in. We don't. I mean, we do, but
Yeah.
but we don't though. They have more than one hole,
I just,
not counting the oral.
but I also
Orifice.
think, I don't necessarily believe that you're born gay. I don't believe that.
What was your answer to the question though? Do you think
Do I think I'd sleep with more men than women?
if you were gay, yeah,
Yeah,
and you have
probably.
women if you were
Yeah,
straight?
yeah, probably.
I think so too. That's how I kind of answered it. I'm like,
but like you would bring,
Yeah.
but you would bring women home.
No.
But you would just do the dude thing on the side.
no. Like if you were like full on like gay, like
Oh,
you knew
yeah.
it, accepted, everybody knew it.
Yeah.
You're just out having a good time.
I have a friend
Talking
of mine.
like one night stands,
Right.
like you just.
I have a friend of mine that's
think
gay, and he's slept with a lot of people, but he does the dude and the chick thing because he's got like a Bob Marley sense of
Spirituality type
like
thing.
he doesn't see love or sex in a male or female thing. He's attracted to who he's
As
attracted
we're
to.
playing footsies under the table.
He's attracted to whoever he's attracted to, and he'll fuck guys and he fucks girls. It's whatever.
Keep it even.
I literally
Keep it
don't
fair.
care.
I asked Tina the same question because I told her, I said, hey, I got an idea for the podcast, and I was like, so here's the question. So I asked her the same thing. I was like, so if you were like a lesbian, you know, you think would you have slept with more women than you have men being straight? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, huh.
What's her number? How many people she slept with? You think?
As far as guys,
Yeah, less than 5.
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
because there was a conversation that was I was on one of the pages that I'm on. They were talking about how many sexual partners you've been with, and
But see,
a lot of dudes.
sexual partners though is like a weird like term because that's almost like friends with benefits. Excuse me, friends with benefits, where it's like a continuous thing. It's like a time frame.
No. See, I'm talking about
I'm thinking like one night stands.
what
literally.
the Indians would call bobs and vagines.
I don't even what are you even talking about?
And there's a lot of people that, like, I saw a lot of dudes and they're like, oh, 200-300 people. Yeah, right. Get out of here.
Your dick would fall off.
You are not at 30 years at my age, at 30 years old. I guess you probably could, but you would.
Not in this
No.
state. You'd have to be somewhere. Where do they hold that Saga Tuck? Is it Saga?
Yeah, Saugatuck. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you'd have to go somewhere there like once a year to really reach that number.
But you do know Saugatuck's like a gay town, right? So if
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
know.
go there, you're just
Yeah, I know, but if
plowing dudes all day.
or women,
Yeah, I guess.
like the guy from that GameStop thing. It's ma'am. Can you believe that whole thing where it's like, you just called me sir? It's like, do you blame him? Like, excuse me, but when you come in here like this with roid rage, your voice is fucking deeper than Randy Savage's. It's like, dude,
That's a whole different.
like just
story.
relax.
But no, with that, like, isn't it kind of a double standard? How like I was with a chick who, when I was living in Ann Arbor, she'd been with like 50 dudes.
But you can't fuck somebody else.
Well, I thought that
We're exclusive.
because she was like, when I was like 19, she was like 27, 28, and I didn't think that number was
That
outrageous.
fine wine, that old.
But then I thought about it, and I started doing math in my head. I'm like, all right, hold on a second. Let's think about this logically.
the number that she's slept
Yeah,
with.
it's like 50 people. Okay, so think about it.
And she's only 27?
If you start banging when you're 17 or 18, that's a lot of dudes a year.
Do you think they started that at that time frame though? When they're already that young, they're still. I mean, 27 is still young, and you're already porking 50 dudes.
That's what I'm saying. Well, then I found out that she's a stripper, and it totally changed everything, and I left.
So she probably started fucking when she was like 15.
Oh yeah, probably. But see, I don't know. I think
It is a double standard.
yeah,
though.
for
I know
sure.
what you're talking about.
Like
though.
a dude could sleep with 100 chicks when he's like 25, and like no one says anything about it. But if a chick sleeps with 100 dudes when she's like 25, no, it's just.
They're dragging her through the fucking mud.
But I also think if you are the kind of girl that sleeps with that many dudes, I think you have some like
Issues?
some emotional
Daddy
Yeah.
issues.
But and that's
big
what I was
one.
going to get to is it's the same way with gay people. I think I have not met personally someone that is
like some kind of underlying issue.
yeah that they weren't sexually assaulted or they went through some severe emotional trauma as a kid
See, I
and
don't know,
fucked them up.
I never really had like.
I've literally never met a person that's gay that didn't go through that. So I'm a dumbass and I don't know anything. With that being said, but in my opinion, you're not born that way. You are just you're going through some stuff, and that's okay.
Yeah, it could
if you
be a
choose
different
to do
way of like lashing
yeah,
out.
if you choose to do
So
that,
everybody does
that's
their own thing.
100% fine. We live in America. You're not gonna get your head cut off for it. You can do whatever you want to do.
But don't press it on me saying that this is okay and this is how it should be and it should be accepting of it. It's like, no. If you weren't religious, well, I guess it'd be this. I'm actually not religious. You are.
Right.
So it'd be the same instance if you came up to me and you're like shoving just Bible down my throat, religion. It's like
Right.
this. You need to do this. It's like, no, because they do the same thing with that whole like the the rallies that they have and everything. And you need to be accepting of this and this is okay and you can choose to be this and that and that. It's like, okay. I don't care that you do that, but don't like shove it in my face. Because if I try to shove religion in your face, saying that like the Bible technically says this, you're not gonna like it.
Well,
so just leave me alone.
and-
Do your own thing.
And being a Christian, I will tell you this is. I don't know how many Christians are in the world. I know it's
They're
the
hypocritical.
It's the
not Christians. They're what they do.
It's the second biggest religion in the world.
Christianity?
Yeah, I think being a Muslim is bigger than that because there's more.
Yeah, there's a
people
lot
that-
of them. Yeah.
So there's I would say more than half of all Christians, so more than 50% of them, they go on this rant that if you're if you have tattoos or if you're gay or if you drink alcohol or if you do all this stuff, they tell you that it's wrong and you need to change your life and do all this other stuff. But I will also tell you that in the Bible, and I won't talk to Bible. I'll talk about the Bible a lot unless you ask me. But the Apostle Peter asked Jesus, "What out of all the rules, out of all the commandments, what are the most important ones?" Because before Jesus came around in the Bible, if you believe that, they went off Mosaic law, which is like 500 rules of all this stuff you have to follow, and when you break these rules, you have to bring lambs up to the church,
Sacrifice.
and,
so people
to pay for all the sins.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, so they were just doing bad shit.
Right,
Going,
so
here's a lamb. We're good.
So they did it so much to where it didn't mean anything. So flash forward to Jesus.
That's not true. They just found a loophole
In what?
in religion.
Okay, so anyway, so when Peter asked Jesus this question, because there's all these rules,
Yeah, break it down to
Jesus literally said, "Love your God like no one else, and love your neighbor." Those are the two rules, and all these Christians bash on all these people, and that's not what Christians are called to do. As Christians, we're called to love upon people, to plant seeds in people, to show them what a real Christian is, and then not shoving the Bible down their throat, and then
Right.
watching
That's
on
the thing.
how a Christian is, and then go, "Oh wow, he's living a pretty good life. I wonder what he's got going on." And then you start learning more about it, and then you start doing it. I promise you, me standing on a milk crate in downtown Detroit, screaming at people, telling you if
Praise
you
the
don't
Lord.
change your ways, you're going to hell.
End times are
That is
nigh.
not going to change anyone.
no.
The way you change people and you convert people to that isn't because you want them to. It's because you want a better life for them.
Yeah, but they also have to want a better life too.
Yeah,
But
100%.
also, if they want a better life, though, religion might not be the way for them to do
And
it.
I'm I'm not going to talk to you like this. I'm not going to do the podcast like this. I don't talk to any other people and I'm not telling you that my life is better than yours. I went through some stuff. I went through some stuff, and I found stuff that has really helped me. And I just like to help other people. But me screaming at you isn't going to do that.
Well,
if you have questions about it, I will 100% answer them to the knowledge that I have.
I'm not religious because I think it's like wrong or anything. Just never been around it. And it's a choice to where the few times that I have been around it, I'm like, this really isn't for me, you know.
Yeah,
whatever.
it was one of those, I mean, for me, it was one of those things to where I was in a really dark place, and, you know, I was shown this, and it really helped, and all this crazy stuff happened after that, like stuff that if I told you,
you're a believer,
it would make me sound like a crazy person.
It's like a UFO sighting things.
Yeah, kind of, but it was like real life shit, and it changed my life. And my wife's a Christian, and I try to raise my kids that way, and that's just the way it is. But I'm telling you, the people that say that they're a Christian and they say this crazy shit, they aren't. They can say whatever they want to say. There's a lot of people that go to church every Sunday that they claim to be Christians and they're not, because they're not living a certain way. They're living however they want to live, and then they're doing how the Jews used to do. Is how they would just create havoc in their life, and then just go, oh, well, I'm just going to bring 5 lambs to church because I know I was bad. But who really cares? So I'm just going to do this and, wipe the slate clean. We'll start fresh on Monday, and then they just create havoc again. Mm-hmm. And, I have tattoos, and I swear, and I drink alcohol, and I do a lot of stuff that a lot of people say that I shouldn't. And should I probably do some of those stuff? No, probably not. I probably shouldn't do some of the things that I do.
Oh, but if it doesn't really directly affect your life,
but
in a way, that's just
bringing
everything down.
No, when it comes down to it, I have a relationship with the creator of the universe, and he believes me in who I am, and it's just one of those things. I think it's crazy when people tell you, "Oh, you can't have tattoos. Oh, you shouldn't drink. Oh, you can't swear." I know I shouldn't do some of those things, but God takes you for who you are.
When you just go, well, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, well, yeah. There's always that.
You're not my fucking keeper. Do I know you?
Well, and it's like
those are people that.
It's the same way with other opinions though. There's people that, like, if you are a certain way, people are going to tell you, "Oh, you can't do that."
I've noticed, as in like the religion community, the people that will come up to you and say, you shouldn't have tattoos and you shouldn't do this. Those are the people that are religious, but they're forced to be religious. So they look at you, and they go, "Oh, well, that person does what they want, but they still go to church probably because they want to, and they just don't like you for it."
Right. Well, and like I said in the last podcast, I am the worst human being on the planet. I'm a white male voting Republican Christian that is pro-gun. So I'm sure my opinion doesn't mean anything to anybody.
Yeah, to a lot of people, probably not.
But
neither does mine. I have red hair, so
if you're if I'm gonna answer the question honestly, there are more judgmental people in church.
For sure.
Than there are in
100%.
prison.
There are, yeah.
People in prison are more forgiving. Unless you're a pedophile, are more forgiving to other people than Christians are.
And they have nothing but the Bible to read in prison.
And like the Super Bowl thing, like the Super Bowl part, the halftime show. Mm-hmm. So many Christians were so upset about it.
Oh, I know. But
it's like it's just a party. They're just doing fun stuff.
Yeah, why can't you just leave them alone? If it doesn't affect your life, then just mind your own business. That's a thing that like people need to learn nowadays.
Right. Well, the only thing
mind your own business.
The only thing I can counter with that is if you have an issue with sexuality and like looking at porn and stuff, and you're married, and that kind of stuff leads you that way.
What's wrong with that? I slapped the ham to some hentai before you came over today.
Well, what I'm saying is if
don't judge me.
If you are that kind of person that you can't look at that kind of stuff, then just turn it off. Don't tell me about it.
Exactly. No, I know what you're saying.
Don't write an article about it. Don't call your congressman about it. Just turn it off. And I don't need to hear
Basically,
it.
yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
Because, well, the thing with that, though, is people, it's easier to just turn it off, but they want to feel important, so they have to, like, butt their nose in your business.
Everybody's
and
opinion is so important.
It's like, dude, nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about that person that has to say that. It's like,
no.
Just do your own thing.
Right.
And be happy with what you have.
Yeah.
The people that do care about your opinion, because those are the people that really matter.
Yep. No, and it's just crazy. And like I've told you before, I've told you this before, and I've said it to other people. I can't prove to you that Jesus is the guy who he says he was.
Well, we've had a long conversation about that.
I can prove to you that Jesus Christ was a real human being that walked on this planet. I can prove to you that he did all kinds of crazy shit because there's dead scrolls about it. There's people,
the Dead Sea Scrolls.
They wrote about it.
But they can't even translate those yet, really.
Well,
that shit's all like loosely translated.
Right. But what I can't prove to you is Jesus is the person that I think he is. And
no. Well, you already know my opinion on it because we've talked about it that one day. I'm like, well, how do you know he wasn't just some lunatic through town? And they said, all right, we've had enough of this guy, the village idiot.
Well, and this is the one thing I will tell you is with Christianity, it's an all or nothing thing. In the Bible, it says, do not take away or add anything to this scripture. And what that means is you can't start nitpicking stuff. Because I've met Christians.
So many people do that though.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's like there's Christians, people that say they're Christians. They say, well, I believe this part about the Bible, but all this other shit, that's not real. That never happened.
Yeah. Then it's like, well, why are you even?
Christianity is an all or nothing thing. Either you believe 100% of it, or you.
I agree with that.
Or it's all trash. Or does it mean anything?
That's why I say I'm not religious, because there's some things that I do believe from like Christianity and stuff like that, but there's other things that I don't believe. So I'm like, okay, well, they call it like agnostic or whatever.
Yeah,
but also,
you believe in a power.
I have my own interpretation of like everything, but I also don't like push it on people though. Like I've asked you the one day about that whole like Lucifer getting cast down to earth and then hell and everything. I'm like, well, he's an entity of God himself.
Mm-hmm.
If he's doing all this bad shit, why wouldn't God just be like, no, I made you, I'm gonna get rid of you, so there's no bad shit, That's what I don't get. That's why like the writings of the Bible, and then it gets even more like crazy in other different religions, which I understand like the different religions too, of like based on where it was formed is why it's like Roman Catholic or Catholic and shit like that. But it's like,
right?
Can't you just believe what you want to believe and like not feel like you're gonna be punished for it?
Well, I mean, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. But it's just.
Well, I just piss in the wind nowadays.
Oh, I know. But let's see, with the whole Christianity part and people not believing certain parts, and that's the same thing with Jesus. As a Christian, you either believe that he is the Son of God who came to save the human race from sin, or you believe he's a crazy person who is like a bum on the street that just says crazy stuff. Yeah. You can't be half in or half out. That's not how that works.
Well, the big one that I've noticed is the Bible, and then like whether God's right or whether devil's right. There's this big like push-pull argument who the actual deceiver is. Well, people go back and forth about that. That's a perspective thing. And I say the same thing. I'm like, well, how do you know God isn't the deceiver and everything? How do you know the devil's not the deceiver? You don't. You never will.
Well, it's with
you're not gonna be around once you kick the bucket to go, hey, this is what's up. This is what's going on.
This is this is what I believe.
Where you go is where you go. Because I do believe when you die, you do go somewhere. That's another thing that I believe in. Yeah. But
you're also the same person that said, well, maybe hell's not that bad. Mm-hmm. Maybe hell's all right.
Maybe, yeah, because you never know.
Maybe it's decent.
Maybe it's because the people that do they just go about their business, they drink, they smoke, they do whatever, they fuck like rabbits, whatever. That's cool. Mm. If it's true and you get sent to hell, maybe it's like, all right, so you're just a normal person. This is where you go. The lunatics go up there where they just stick with their cult and have some Kool-Aid and hang out and
Well, then you have like subcultures of Christianity, like Mormons, Latter-day Saints.
And I'm not ignorant, by the way, people. I'm just
well, Latter-day Saints believe there's only 144,000 people going to heaven. So
is that the number?
Yeah, it's the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah, I know I'm not that number.
Yeah.
I'm not in that percentage.
But it's crazy. And like, and you know, it's just one of those things to where I will give you all the information I have. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when you lay your head down at night, it all depends on what you believe. Because I can tell you whatever I tell you.
Yeah, right.
And you can say, well, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
And I could be. But this is my life.
I like what you said the one time we talked about it at work is like, if you do everything you're supposed to when you follow religion, you get taken to heaven or whatever. I like how you said, like, there's like a museum or like an exhibit that explains everything that really happened, and you get to walk through it all and go, this is how everything was made. These are the real people that did everything.
Yep, I think it's called the Book of Life is what I could be wrong. But it has like a history of everything that's happened. And that's one of the cool things that I think is really cool is, you go to heaven and you can, because it always drove me, like, how did Satan convince a whole bunch of angels to try to overthrow God, and like how all that worked. And I think that's really cool
because they got tired of being told what to do. You have to do this, do that.
Yeah.
But then it also goes to the point where you don't just go around swinging swords at people and try to take over something. You just, okay, well, I'm gonna go do my own thing over here, and you do you. You don't have to like smite me or anything. I'm leaving you alone.
Yep. And and that whole, like, that Westboro Baptist Church, and the church that like they say that they always protest veterans' funerals when they die, and they say that they're. Have you never heard of this?
No.
Yeah, Westboro Baptist Church is a crazy cult religion that they say they're a part of Christianity, that like. They say that they're going to hell because they're not fighting for God, and they protest gay people, and they say gay people are going to hell, and all this crazy shit. And then not people like you, but like people.
Hey, cool it with that shit.
But people will like come find me and say, "Oh, well, you're a Christian. You believe all that crazy shit?" Like, no, that's not. That's not it at all, man. Like,
yeah, that's a problem.
And then I get clumped in with all this other crazy shit, and I'm like, no, that's not.
But that's
not it at all.
Any religion, though. I mean, the big one is like Muslims, and like the stereotype that they're all terrorists. It's like somebody can be Muslim, and they're automatically just roped into that category of like, oh, you're a terrorist. It's like, no, actually, I'm just a family man. I just do my prayers and do my followings and stuff like that. Like, that's a problem with any religion in the world.
And then Buddhism,
like
I mean, they're super nice people. They have a certain beliefs of things, all this stuff. And if you're not the religious type, you can use religions as tools, because even if you don't believe everything in the Bible, it still gives you a basic principle of life.
It's still sort of a knowledge.
Yeah, it tells you how to live your life.
Yeah,
it tells you.
You don't have to follow it, but it's a good starting point.
Yeah, and just
if like you said, if you're in like a bad place or something, like, hey, what do I do? How do I get out of this? It's like, well, here's it's worked for a lot of people.
The book of Proverbs is a whole book of Proverbs. It tells you all this good stuff that may help you. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's fine. But it'll definitely help you. Oh, it's just crazy. And but no, like going back to the whole gay thing, like, it's just being gay and being trans are two different things. And I don't understand that. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your life, that's fine. I'm very naive and dumb about it because I don't know anyone that is, and I can't even begin to understand how that whole process even works.
I don't know.
It's wild.
It's like the thing of like your son's 5 years old and you're letting him dress like a girl. You know how confused that kid's gonna be when they grow up?
Yeah, definitely. But then again,
it's like you pick his clothes out, but
listen,
you're gonna allow him to decide whether he wants to be a girl or not at like 6 years old. I have 2 kids, and this is why I will tell you from what I know. And like I said, I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. But in the country we live in, to where people
are getting divorced left and right, and you have a lot of single mothers, a lot of deadbeat dads, and it's the opposite way too. There's a lot of deadbeat moms and single dads,
Yep.
and there's a lot of single parenthood. And what I can tell you, with boys in particular, is they need a relationship with their mom, and they need a relationship with their dad. And if a mom is trying to do both, where she's trying to be mom and dad, and vice versa, when a dad's trying to be a dad and a mom,
Yeah, it's hard.
they don't know how to do both sides.
Yeah.
So stuff gets skewed.
Yeah, that's like one of those like DNA things of like our makeup.
Yeah, you need both.
Yeah.
And when, I watched a thing on CNN about this trans specialist was talking about not naming the gender of your newborn kid and letting them to decide.
So what are you gonna call it till it's like 8 years old?
Some asexual name. And
Come here, sofa.
it's,
Come here.
It's great. Like it's insane to me. And I'm a guy's guy. Okay, I'm a real man. Like I work on my cars. I raise 2 sons. I watch sports. I drink beer. I do real stuff. And it drives me absolutely crazy when I see a dad who isn't being a man.
When you don't know how to change your own tire, that's a problem.
But it's not just that. Like, listen, when you have little humans, you can have 2 boys, 2 girls,
Spawn.
a bunch of kids. You are raising those humans to be adults.
And hopefully decent members to society.
And if you aren't doing your job as a parent, you are fucking them up.
Oh, absolutely.
You are ruining their lives. For, I have
Neglect is a big one.
I have big emotional and mental issues from my parents being who they are, and because they're divorced, and my dad was a terrible human being, and my mom wasn't much better, and my sisters have those same issues. But if to solve that, just be a decent human being and teach your little humans to be good adults. Because if not, there's all these stats in the world to where if you come from a broken home, like 55% of those people are in the system. They go to prison. They're drug addicts.
I think it's an endless chain. It's like if your parents, like your grandparents, if they really didn't have like a decent common moral standing of like politeness and manners and common sense, then when they teach your parents that, and then they still don't get it, and then they try and teach you that, luckily you have enough common sense to like not be a total fucking dick in the world, where it's just like when you're out and about, just common, normal things like a moral standing of just, for an instance, like holding a door open for somebody and saying thank you.
Right. But see, that's the crazy thing with my family in particular, though, is my grandma and grandpa raised 3 girls, and they raised them the right way. My aunt Kim is one of the greatest human beings I've ever met. And my mom is the exact opposite of that. My grandpa Ed, who raised him the right way. Somehow, they both got fucked up, and they didn't know how to do anything. My mom was 17 when she had me, or 18. She was a teenager when she had me. And I understand that she didn't know how to raise a human being. But they were both shit. And when I was growing up, I realized that I wanted to have a family of my own, and I made a decision when I was a child that if I have a family of my own, I was going to do it the right way. I was going to raise my kids the way that they needed to be raised, so when they become contributing members of society, they're not just walking around looking, not having any idea what's going on, what to
around
do,
them,
or anything.
It's bad. Well, nowadays, it's like people that have kids nowadays, it's been so diluted with just like idiocracy and just people that just have no fucking common sense. So these parents, number one, when they have kids, most of the time they don't want kids, they just have kids. So number two, when they do have the kid and the kid fucking gets shit out and they start raising it, they're just going, no, don't do that. The kid's just running rampant, fucking up everything around that he sees in sight, and the parents still are just like, because they didn't want the kid in the first place, they're just not gonna deal with it. And then when that kid grows up to be an adult, it's gonna be the same thing. So it's like I said, it's like a chain from way back. If it just keeps going on and on and on.
And
back then, people, World War II and shit like that, when people were having kids and stuff, I mean, there was like, you had discipline, even if you weren't a military person or nothing like that, you still had all that shit that was going on around you. So people were like, oh,
Yep.
I have to do this and this has to be done this way. And it was a good way to do things. And somewhere, somehow it kind of got broken off and people were just kind of like, I don't really give a shit. I'm just going to have kids and do it. It's like, no, don't have a kid if you don't want a kid. Understand that. No more. That's like the biggest thing. If you don't want a kid, don't be an idiot. Do everything in your power to not have a kid. If you do want a kid, don't give up halfway through.
Right.
That's something you have to stick with your entire life, their entire life. So don't go half-assed, because then you got just fucking terrible idiots
Yep.
running around when they grow up.
And what I've learned being a dad is a lot of parents, you're right. And see, what happens is these two people will have a one-night stand, or they'll be in a kind of relationship and they'll have a kid, and they go, oh, wow, I think I should marry this person.
Oh,
I don't even know if I really have feelings for him,
It's the worst.
but I think a marriage is going to solve this kid's life.
Isn't
and
that
then we're just going to
crazy?
fight and bitch and bicker forever and ruin this kid's life.
Oh, yeah.
Or the other side of that is what happens if they don't do that. Both parents have a career and they have a kid because that's what they wanted, but they're so career focused and career oriented.
Yeah, that kid's just left alone.
Yeah, and they're just doing,
Forever.
and the kid's doing whatever it wants to do, and they don't give a fuck about it.
Nope.
And that's the difference with me in particular. Is I was married to my wife for a year before we decided to have kids. Then we had 2 kids, and now I love my kids. And my wife should be like, oh well, I think I want to go over to my friend's house. Would you mind, staying with the kids? I'm like, absolutely. I love spending time with my kids. My kids are awesome human beings.
Yeah,
I'm
your
sure.
kids crack me
I'm
up.
sure everyone that's listening to this, you'll hear a lot.
Everybody says that about their
my
kids.
about my boys. My kids really are the shit.
No, like I said, they crack me up.
But like, I literally wouldn't have it any other way. I don't understand. Listen, when you watch a human being being born, and if that doesn't change your life, if it doesn't alter the way you think about what is your priority,
Then you shouldn't have had a kid.
you're fucked up.
Yeah, then you shouldn't have had a kid.
Yeah, like when I watched both my kids be born, I'm like, oh shit, like this is for real.
You had like the party poppers, just like, yeah, fuck yeah, we did it.
No, it scares me, man, because I want to do such a good job of raising them because I don't want them to be fucked up.
Dude, there are people that have like hamsters and stuff like that, like little just tiny pets, could be any pet, but it's
Yeah.
like they can't even handle taking care of that. But those are the people that have been with their significant other for like 6 months. They get married and they go, I want to have a kid now. It's like, dude, your turtle's been rotting in its tank for 6 months. You want to have a fucking kid?
Yeah.
You crazy?
No, I'm super crazy, so don't take what I'm gonna say for anything. But I think everyone should be severed sexually as a kid, and then when they're like 18 or 19 years old, they take a IQ test and like a maturity test, and if it's not at a certain line, you just can't have kids.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be a good way of doing it.
And then if you want to reapply for it when you're
Cognitive
25
learning.
or 30, you can try it again, because I know you mature and you get older, but like there's a lot of people out there, man, that don't need to have any kids.
Oh, I know it.
And those kinds of people have lots of kids.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? They're the ones that have the most.
Yep.
It's like, wow.
I know a person
Like,
that
please stop.
is with, super fucked up. I know a person that is with someone that is a convicted pedophile. Okay? Real story. And I won't say who, I won't say who they are. They have like 5 kids, and they're all taken away. They're wards of the state now.
Oh my god.
And what happens is they'll keep on having kids thinking, oh, well,
Maybe they'll let me keep this one.
yeah. And they're like, no, you don't
That's not how that
understand.
works.
That's not how any of this works.
That's awful.
And it's just insane to me.
Has nobody like pull them aside and be like, you gotta stop.
Well,
This is why this keeps happening.
If you knew their family, you would know that that's just that's not it's not going to happen that way. And like I don't know, it's
like
just
crazies like the hills have eyes.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. I mean, but listen, there's crazy people out there everywhere, man.
Oh no, that's for sure.
But no, I mean, I couldn't, excluding a couple small minor things in my life, not having enough money, not driving a brand new truck, stupid trivial shit. Other than those things, my life is pretty fucking perfect. I got a wife that stays at home with my kids and takes care of the house. I work at a job that pays me just enough to not have to look for another job. But like with the job thing, I don't really care about having, like, I just want to be a dad. I'll do whatever I got to do just to make sure they have the things that they need. Mm-hmm. But my kids and like all the other stuff, it's pretty all right. Like, life's not that bad.
Yeah. You just gotta learn how to like handle things.
Well, and a lot of people, they get on this keeping up with the Joneses way of life.
Yeah, my brother-in-law and I, we were talking about that last time I was over there. It's like all of his friends are that way, and then
I gotta have the newest phone. I gotta have the newest TV. Gotta have the newest shit. Like,
it's like no, you don't.
Just listen, if you live in your financial lane, Kevin Hart talks about living in your financial lane. Mm-hmm. If you live within your financial lane and you find true happiness,
yeah, then you're good.
You are solid.
Yeah.
But see, what happens is people get so depressed and my car's not a blah 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 blah. My house isn't so big. I don't have an 80-inch TV. I don't have the brand new iPhone. Who gives a fuck?
Thing with that is people that are unhappy like that though too, it's like they try to find like hobbies, and they're the people that find like a bunch of hobbies, but then they're so like depressed that they don't really follow through with those hobbies, and then they stop and they go, I can't even like do this hobby or whatever, and then they get more depressed about that, so they go find another hobby and they fail at that or whatever, which is, by the way, a hobby. It's a hobby. It's not meant to be like some super hardcore driven passion that's gonna make you so successful in life and so happy. It's a hobby. It's something to distract your mind from whatever else is going on in your life. But they like cling to these hobbies, and it just fucking crumbles in their hands, and they get even more depressed about it. And it's just they keep going and going and going. They're like, fuck, dude, I suck. It's like no, just like, do a little bit at a time. Yeah. Keep doing what you have to do to get by, and quit worrying about all the other shit. Most of the time it'll end up all right. Mm-hmm. But people don't believe you when they say that, because they think their life is so fucking terrible and miserable. Like, people that have to file bankruptcy is like a big one. They're like, oh my God, I'm so far in debt. My life's over, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, but, bankruptcy is a thing. It's a real thing. File for bankruptcy, get that shit flipped around. Yeah, your credit's going to be fucked for like 10 years. But if you start over, because, we live in a world where you have that opportunity more than once, which I think is kind of crazy. I should think you only get like one chance. But,
I think you can file for bankruptcy like every 7 years or some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you just rack it up, and then go, okay. Like Michael Scott, I declare bankruptcy.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's like
you get a chance to make everything okay.
Well, and
it'll be fine.
If you're going through some stuff, I see people do that. They try to fill that void, all this nonsense. And then the nonsense they try to make that nonsense a part of their life, and it doesn't work
like
out.
hobbies, basically.
And then they're still depressed. I'm like, no, you're looking at the wrong thing.
It's a temporary solution.
Look at what you got going on. If what you're doing isn't right and you're depressed about that, you can do whatever you want. You can
change it.
You can do blow off hookers' asses, and you're still gonna be depressed about it. But like, it's just. I know people who just they go from just shitty relationship to shitty relationship, and they don't understand what's going on. But like, the common denominator in all those problems is you.
Well, the women that get beat, and then they don't ever leave the guy.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And I understand there are some instances, some circumstances where like you can't leave, but there is still something that you could do. But like when there's solid proof that you're just getting the shit kicked out of you by your man, and you hate his guts, but then you're all over social media like, 5 years with this love of my life, blah blah blah, and it's like, what? How fucking mixed up are you in your head? Like I want to know. I want to get inside your head, and I want to listen.
No,
to
you
your
don't.
thought process of how that's like okay.
But
and
no.
then they're the ones that want pity.
Oh yeah.
They go, well, he beat me yesterday. It's like fucking leave.
Yeah.
And
Get out of
then
there.
it got to the point where I knew a chick growing up that was like that we'd always party with, and she was the same way. He beat me the fucking asshole, and he would, and then I brought it up. I was an asshole, but I said that's your problem. I said that's all you. I don't give a shit anymore. I said that's your fucking problem. Quit crying to me about it. You're a fucking dick. Blah, blah. I said, well, you're trying to ask for pity about this shit, and you're going on about it.
Yep.
I said, dude, fix it. It's your problem. I don't care anymore.
Well, and that phrase that everyone says, money doesn't buy your happiness, and that's true. But I can tell you, if you're moderately happy like I am, if you throw me a bunch of money, I'm only going to exponentially be happier
yeah.
because I'm always me.
It's another layer of the cake.
Right. So like, in my already happy life, if you gave me like, if I won the lottery and won like, I don't know, $100 million, my life would only get better.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Because what happens is broke, depressed people buy lottery tickets.
Yeah.
That's how that happens.
Yeah.
And then they win the lottery, and then they buy a house in France and Italy and Germany and Switzerland, and they drive Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
They just go crazy.
78% of everyone that wins the lottery files for bankruptcy. And the reason why that is because of property taxes. Because you got 35 houses.
Yeah, they got like 20 houses and property
Like, well,
taxes.
I can buy the house, but they forget when you're on the ocean in Italy, you're paying like millions of dollars a year in property taxes.
Well, the other one too is they buy this humongous fucking house, this mansion, and then they don't think about the cost of upkeep. They don't think about the cost of like heating, cooling, everything like that. And then within like 6 months, they're like, "Fuck."
No. See,
I just blew through like $15 million in like 6 months.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is
Gee, I wonder why.
I'm a moderate guy. I'm a simple dude. If I literally won the lottery, I would literally buy like 1,000 acres in Montana or Wyoming, somewhere out west. I would build a log cabin in the back of that property, and I would buy a nice truck, and I would buy, my aunt a house and just moderate stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to go fucking balls to the wall with it.
I would just listen. All that money would just make me not have to work.
Exactly.
I wouldn't
be spending it left and right. I would just be doing nothing with my life.
No, I'd literally be like Mark Wahlberg in the movie Shooter. Like,
yeah, just middle of fucking nowhere.
I'd be outside splitting wood. I'd have some, cattle or horses or whatever, and I would just live my life.
I'm a firm believer when I say it. Like if I ever won the lottery, I wouldn't have anything like crazy.
No, because
I truly believe myself when I say like, yeah, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't buy some crazy big house or anything and go all crazy. It's just simple.
And that's what I'm saying.
A place of my own
is
that's it.
If you're depressed, you're always going to be
my own
depressed.
little utopia.
But if you're moderately happy,
20 grand,
you'll be straight.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a Cadillac Eldorado and put it on 22s and be bumping, that'd be fine.
Or prostitutes.
Which is crazy. I did not know that you didn't know, that prostitution is legal in Vegas.
I had no idea. I literally had no idea.
I thought that was free information.
And I literally have like a stack of those cards that they're clicking at you when you walk down the fucking strip. I got a whole stack of them that I saved when we went to Vegas.
Just keep those in your back pocket just in case?
No, just like a memento, like when I went to the trip. Because when I went, I was 18, so I couldn't do shit.
How old do you have to be to buy a hooker? You have to be 21? Can you be 18 to buy a hooker?
I don't know, actually. Oh, look it up. How old do you have to be to buy a hooker in Vegas? And if it is 18, regardless, I didn't have the money to do it, so...
Oh, you could have asked your dad for $200 for a blowy.
Couple hundred? Yeah, oh yeah, for a blowy.
Yeah. I mean, how much... what do you want?
To win the slots and everything, but you can't even gamble though when you're 18, unless you do it illegally.
In a Vegas casino, you're right, but on Indian reservation casinos,
18. It says at least 18.
Oh, so you could be
and
laying some
prostitutes must submit to regular HIV and STD testing.
Yep. That's why I don't understand why it's not legal across the whole country.
Oh. This is interesting. Brothels can't be located within 400 yards of a school or a place of worship. What a fucking downer.
I'm kind of on board with that.
No, the gambling thing in Vegas was crazy. My sister and my dad, we stayed at the Mirage, so we could walk around and everything. And
Is that on the Strip or is that downtown Vegas?
I don't remember.
I think that's on the Strip. Well, anyway.
I think it's on the Strip. But they stopped to gamble, and I stopped to watch them play. They were playing like blackjack on like the electronic one, and like within like 30 seconds, the security guard like came up. He's like, "Hey, how old are you? Can I see your ID?" I said, "Dude, I'm 18." He's like, "You can't fucking stay in here and watch these people gamble. You gotta keep moving." He said it just like that too. I'm like, "Whoa, damn!" And then this lady, remember me saying she had like her 2 toddlers and a push stroller, and she stopped to go like gamble. The guy's like, "Get those fucking kids out of here, blah blah." I'm like, "Whoa, holy shit!"
So it happens when you have a whole town that's ran by the mafia.
Well, that too. I think what it is though is like it'll fuck up their whole like equation and system of however they have it set up to where like if somebody like pulls it and it's a winner and they can't claim that money, it like fucks up this whole like entire system that they have built.
Well, that's what's cool about like Soaring Eagle and Firekeepers.
The bell curve.
Yeah.
It's almost like that for the lottery. It's like something like the bell curve that they have.
Yeah, because to the last of my knowledge, I think you can still smoke at Indian reservation casinos.
In Vegas, you can smoke inside all their casinos.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
I didn't know with all those like rules.
Well, maybe. Well, not now, but when I was 18, when we went, everybody was just smoking.
Yep.
So.
Well, and the reason why I know one of the reasons why, like, if you go to like MGM in Detroit,
can't you still smoke?
No, I don't think you
or
can.
Or is it Soaring Eagle that you can?
Yeah, it's Soaring Eagle you can, but at MGM and Motor City, you have to be 21, and the reason why that is they openly serve alcohol, and they don't like card anybody.
Oh, okay.
So they assume everyone in there's 21 because you get carded at the door. So that's why you can't be 18.
Yeah, that was the thing that sucked too. Is when I went to Vegas, I couldn't even drink or nothing. You know.
So now with the tobacco laws, how they are, how you have to be 21. So at 18, you're constituted as an adult. If you you can go to war, you can vote. But you can't drink, you can't smoke, you can barely drive, so you're not really an adult.
No.
And
until you have to pay your own bills.
Listen, I was on probation at like 17, and I got tried. I was charged as an adult.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up?
Crazy.
People that are like 16, 15, they get charged. Yeah. They get tried as an adult.
Right.
And it's like, well, fuck me. And nowadays, can you imagine that when you're like 18, 17, you can't even buy a pack of smokes, and we're gonna try you as an adult. It's like I can't buy a beer, I can't buy a pack of smokes. Come on. Where's the leniency in that?
I just couldn't imagine even being like a 20-year-old kid right now and be like, you being able to buy cigarettes and dip for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, nope, whoop, just pull the rug right out from underneath you.
So close. You were almost there.
Whatever. I mean,
Puerto Rico was cool when we went though, because the drinking age is 18 there.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that was the other place. That's also the only other time that I've actually been like hiking through like the rainforest, and we stopped at the La Mina Falls. That was cool looking.
I don't even think Mexico has a drinking age.
Probably
I think
not.
it's like
Tequila!
as long as you can reach over the counter, they'll serve it to you.
Oh fuck yeah!
They don't care.
Oh, what country is it where that is? If you're tall enough, they'll serve you.
Probably Mexico.
Is it Germany or something? I thought it was a European country.
Could be Germany.
There's something like that.
Everybody drinks in Germany.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But, well, you gotta go to work, huh?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. Sure do.
All right. Well, thanks for finally coming out.
Yep. No problem.
We can do this.
Yep. We'll do it again. Yeah. We'll start uploading these weekly. These are delayed probably by a couple of weeks. So
yeah, we're trying to get like a one lump sum.
Yep. So
we already have our Facebook page created.
Yep.
Instagram.
Yep.
Because I didn't create it, but you did. So if you want to tell them what that is and how to follow it.
It's Screams for Relief. It is. Hold on, I'll pull up the page right now.
I think the Instagram is.
It's
SFR podcast or SFR cast. It might be.
Hold on. The Facebook and Instagram one are the same. It's at SFR Streams.
Okay.
So if you just search SFR Streams, it'll pull up our page on Facebook and Instagram. So give it a like, and eventually we'll start. We'll put our content on YouTube also once we get some more stuff rolling and stuff. But nope, we'll do So just go there, go ahead and like the page, and just be patient, and we'll start loading these weekly, and we'll see you degenerates later.
Yep. And if you're ever curious about our personal lives, you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. I don't know what your Instagram is.
It's at I think it's
Penguin 4 Chev.
yes, that is what it is.
The number 4,
Yeah.
and then mine is Big Johnson 101 because my last name is Johnson.
Of course it is.
And yeah, so thanks for listening. For those of you that listen, and until next time,
All right, we'll see you.
have a good one.
A witch hunt. And they're pushing that impeachment witch hunt